YouTube, really, I'm speaking to the USA host. For those who don't know what a USA hole is, if you come to this channel, yeah, it's provocative, isn't it? Well, a USA hole is someone who sees the very world that's been pulled over their eyes to make them believe that what they're living is actually real, which is nothing more than a fairy tale. So every time they try to come from a realistic standpoint, you find yourself lost and you find yourself wondering simply because of the Matrix, the Truman Show, the very place that you live. What pill did you take? Or have you even taken the pill yet? Have you even started down the rabbit hole yet? I mean, if you had this video, if you tuned in long enough, you might have taken the red pill. And if you did, then you can consider me Morpheus, or you could consider me the child of Zion. My job is to help you find your way home. As I'm on my way, I can't allow anything to stop me at this point because I understand we only have such a short period of time to get things done. So this message is for those who are serious about making a drastic change for the beneficial purposes of protecting your vessel, your body. Because a lot of y'all don't know, they have contracted your body, the de facto government, of course, I'm speaking of. De facto meaning existing in fact, but not exactly established yet, not fully established. Hmm. What am I speaking of exactly? Well, I'm speaking of the District of Columbia and its territories that it owns, the 10-mile radius from the White Horse and so forth. And anyone who contracts within inside of the provisions of the United States government, the de facto government, which has complete and full control over a specific district we like to call, well, I just said Columbia, of course, but I really mean um, has control over a specific jurisdiction, and that jurisdiction we like to call maritime admiralty. Maritime and admiralty are synonyms, but within that world, I would like to say Satan, Saturn, or Luciferians, because, and I say Luciferians for lack of better words, because the United States was founded on the Constitution, which was founded on the Bible, because it had to have some foundation for it to exist, some type of root principles in place. And we all know that the Bible was stolen from ancient times in black or Moorish copper skinned cultures, right? Afro-Indigenous type of cultures, right? So we have to ask ourselves what's going on, what is really transpiring here, right? This jurisdiction was created via the social security number, the contract of your body, of your vessel, your ship. This might be really hard for you to understand, but just keep tuning in and I'll give it all to you the way it's supposed to be delivered. It's not for you to catch within one video. It's for it's simply to see if the message was for you. It might not be, and that's okay. Those who come across this video, it was meant for you. Whether you want to accept that or not, it was meant for you. Because the thing about frequencies, we just don't tune into things that we don't want to exist in our reality. We just don't do that. That's not, no. So, moving on. Um, so this de facto government that was created, give y'all a little bit of history, man. This de facto government created. If you look on the back of the dollar, which I don't have right now, you will find an Egyptian pyramid. The Illuminati feel like that they are the new Egypt. You know, the Illuminati is well known for being pagan worshippers, very much so. The Illuminati is nothing more than a family. So, you know, a very wealthy, rich family at that, but a family. And this family, you know, made some really great business decisions, and now they control the titles, they control the properties, they control the land, they control your body. If you have opted into any provision out there worldwide, internationally, in other words, like it doesn't matter where you're at this point. You know, if you're born in China, if you got some type of paperwork, some type of welfare, if you're registered into something, if you contracted in, whether that be a green card or a social security card or a birth certificate of some degree, you are a part of common law. There are two types of law. You have common law and you have private law, right? Private law, you have the right to contract, unalienable. You have unalienable rights in private law, and in common law, you have copywritten rights. You know, you have corporate rights. You know what I'm saying? And as a slave, a Slavic, like a black African American, because black traces back to color, and African American traces back to slave, and slave means Slavic. So when you think you have rights, you find yourself being designated as a thing on documentation. And then you turn around and you get on your knees and you pray to the Most High, or you pray to whatever God you believe in, and you wonder why your prayers are not being answered. Well, it's because you're under the thumb of the de facto government, which represents a force that I wouldn't say, well, it just represents a force that moves in a direction that's completely against your nature. So your frequency is just not reaching God like you wanted to, or the all like you wanted to. Unfortunately, you have to get from out underneath your oppressor. And until you do such a thing, your life will transpire downwards. It will spiral downward. This is just the facts. I hate to give it to you this way, but this is just the facts. Anyways, we'll pause this video for half a second, pull up some documents. Alright, man, so we back, guys. Alright, so, a lot of this information, I can speak off dome, but I wanna be precise in particular about what I'm speaking on, so I'm going to use reference points, so I hope you guys, so you can get all this stuff correctly. So I made a video previously, and some of the information wasn't completely on point, so I want to make sure from this point forward that I'm giving you guys the best quality as far as information goes. So anyways, we're gonna do it like this here. Alright, we're gonna do it just like this here. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the United States that was established. I'm gonna give you a small little bit of history, and then I'm gonna move on, right? And we're gonna see what we can get with this. So we got the private side again. So let's back up a little bit. We got two United States. For those who don't know, two here that's live and well, live and kicking. One most of you are already familiar of. You have the United States government. Well, I'm sorry, what you perceive to be the government, which is really the de facto corporation, the United States Corporation. Hence the fact you always see it in all capital letters. It's not in proper grammar, But anywho, and then we have the Republic, the very first United States that was established by the people, approximately 1776, not 1789. Alright, the very first United States was established. With the Declaration of Independence, we established through signings of the Articles of Confederation, the national government took on the debt incurred during the war from the national debt by the states. Right? We established the United States established in 1776. We were a republic. Alright? Still are a republic. Just a lot of us have lost our sovereignty. See, this conscious community can throw things around, throw words around, and throw shit around so much that it'll just scare you out of your, man, you gotta understand that the white man, or excuse me, excuse me, negative forces are out there to scramble your thoughts and your mind. So you got to be on point with this information. You cannot just be letting anybody just give it to you. Don't believe me. Check the shit the fuck out. You feel me? If a motherfucker not telling you that, get away from them. Get away from them, because they are straying you wrong. They are not teaching you properly. Anyways, just want to make that clear to anyone who's watching this video. So you have the Republic, and hold up, excuse me. This is not legal advice. Anyone who thinks this is legal advice, please seek a competent counsel. This is only for entertainment purposes. Please seek legal counsel. This is not legal advice. Any infringement, any damage done by you, the party, will be upon your own discretion. Please be advised. All right. So, anyways, 1782 was the end of the Revolutionary War, and the states went to the. We're not even gonna go into that. Excuse me. So we're not even gonna go into that. That's a whole nother lesson. We're gonna stick right here with the two jurisdictions and the two United States that a lot of folks don't understand. So I hope we got this, man. This simple shit right now. I hope we got this simple shit right now. The United States corporation, and then the United States government. The 48 states used to be the 48 States United, which is now the 52 States United, and I believe, and many other whatever other states they might have joined in or whatever. But anyways, so you have the private side and the public side. The private side, which is the republic. The public side being the democracy. That's interesting. The term that like democracy, democracy, demon. Coincidence, right? Gotta be. Gotta be. I'm just gotta be, right? Yeah, gotta be. Okay. So, what's the difference, right? I'm guessing everybody's asking what is the difference. Who cares? Well, I mean, there's a lot of psychological trickery that goes on here in America, where you're perceived to believe a fairy tale. Really. All you Americans are pagan worshippers. All of y'all. Y'all just don't even know it. False idol worship. You understand? How you know this? Well, once again, I told you to look on the back of the dollar. Why is there an Egyptian pyramid on the back of the dollar? We have to ask. Ain't this a Christian base, foundation? Like, why is there not a cross or something? Some type of Christian something, right? Maybe a Christian church, maybe a Catholic church, or some shit. Nah. Then we got all this Latin and this Greek stuff on the back of this shit. Then we be having all this symbolism on that you look around when you go inside the courtrooms. You see Greek goddesses. The Greek goddess. I'm not exactly 100% sure what goddess that is, but you see her in the courtrooms, the tribunals. Which, by the way, the democracy. How you know the difference between the two in flags? Let's talk about flags. We have the gold fringe American flag. Scratch that. Let's talk about the original one first. We all know the original flag with no gold fringes at all, right? We know the original had blue, white, and stripes, red stripes, right? We understand exactly what an American flag looks like. Later on down the road, when the second United States was incorporated, which hold up. I'll get you that information in a minute, or I'll post it in the video. Anyways, the gold fringe around the flag represents a military tribunal, Admiralty Maritime Jurisdiction. This is the jurisdiction of artificial courts. Do you understand? An artificial corpse or entity or corporation is a person of no sound mind or body. You understand? Or sound or no sound of mind or body. Right? Hence the fact you get the word corpse in corporation. Right? Because it's dead. It's not alive. It doesn't have a brain. It doesn't have a heart. It can't think for itself. It cannot function. It has to. A living being, a living person has to operate it or control it. With me? I'm hoping you guys are with me. Whoever's watching this video, I'm hoping you're tuning in. I'm hoping this is making some sense. Okay? And then, now these two flags represent two different locations and jurisdictions. Do we have an understanding here? I hope we have an understanding here, guys. In jurisdiction, on the private side, we have what we like to call legal title. Okay, legal title. On the public side, we have what we like to call equitable title. Excuse me, equitable title. This is where it gets really ugly and nasty. Because, like I said before at the beginning of this video, that they contracted your body, so now they not only do they control the money, they control your property, but they control the land and your body. That's pretty nasty. That's ugly. They can predict you now. They know how to control you now. They have you technically by the balls. Hence the fact you always gotta go register shit. You always gotta go ask for permission. You always gotta be in line somewhere being told what the motherfucking do. All the time. And me personally, I'm quite tired of it. Very. I got tired of it years ago. So exhausted of it years ago that I decided to do something about it. I decided to put my fucking head in some books and get closer to some answers because I knew something wasn't right. I had to ask myself, like, why do I have to register my car? Why the fuck? If I bought it, why do I need to register it? You don't go out to the store and buy a toy and then turn around and register your toy. But for some reason, they making you register other shit. Like, why do I need to do? Why do I have to this and why did I have to that? And you have like you're in a when you're opted into this, which unfortunately we were informed into this. Our parents were informants, and they opted us into this thing with the birth certificate, which started on the private side. The social security number, which is on the public side, was then created later on down the road to make us accommodation parties to the debt that we refused to pay as far as the states go, which is what got us in this mess in the first place. Because we were dealing with pirates way back in time, in the days. And those pirates, greedy pirates, bankers, whatever you would like to call them, banksters, reptilians, I mean, we can go on. These individuals want control. They don't care about nothing else but control, mass domination. And that's their will. It is what it is. Must have been something that happened to them a long time ago that got them like this. Who knows? it's not my, it's not for me to pay attention to that. But that is their goal. So they've created a system that works in the favor of their goal. Hence the fact you've now been given monogamy when you had polygamy or polygyny. Hence the fact now you have to ask for permission and register shit. Hence the fact now, as an American, you are all on welfare and you're living check to check, most of us. Almost 75% of us. And this shit just don't, it doesn't get better. We're finding families breaking up marriages and people having to go back to school again to re-educate themselves because the salary that they got does not add up to the way the world is evolving. And it has everything to do with you using these Federal Reserve notes, these FRNs. Everybody wants so bad. And I understand this is legal tender and it is a form of exchange. But it's not the only form of exchange. Not at all. See, on the private side, there's an exchange. There's a few forms of exchange that your very so-called government failed to risk to mention or bring to your attention, like acceptance for value, like discharging the debt, setting off the debt, and closing the debt with just a signature. Like driving from point A to point B, traveling in your automobile, not a vehicle, with passengers. You have the right to, says the Constitution, as a free man or woman. But as a debtor, you ain't got no rights to do shit. You gotta get permission, nigga. And we keep wondering why the cops just keep getting away with what the fuck they want to get away with. Because guess what? The very people who established the very corporation before your eyes own the courts, own the judges, own the media, own everything that comes inside of the system here that's in place. Right in front of you. From your scholastics to your academics to everything. It starts from birth. It starts from the moment you started watching Teletubbies. It started from the moment you came out the birth canal and you were manifested into the sea of commerce. I hope some people are with me because now I'm getting spooky and shit, right? The birth certificate is it's evidence of the birth of the manifest of the vessel. That birth certificate was then sent to the treasury, I believe, which then it became a bond, and you were then bonded into commerce. Hence the fact you were given a government name, the name that your mother or your father gave you at birth, which allows you to be able to contract. Because without a trust established, you do not have the ability to contract. Are we all on the same page here? I really don't want to go too deep on this video. I want to keep this video quite simple. Very, very simple. Little quick fact. The Bank of the United States was opened in 1791. It had a 20-year charter. The international creditors, wanting a guarantee of payment, said if you put all your securities in this national bank, we'll be good. The states did so. But after the 20-year charter, Congress decided they weren't going to renew the Bank of America. Bank of the Bank of the United States, and tried to pull out of the agreement. And then all of a sudden, British troops on American soil, and they burned the White House, and they took possession of all the federal courts. They were trying to take control of the titles. So then we renewed the Bank of the United States in 1913, the Federal Reserve Amendment, tax collectors, and then in 1929, the stock market crashed, which caused the bankruptcy due to the refusal again of the people who lost their sovereignty. So, okay, let me just go through this real quick. Okay? I'm just gonna give y'all a quick little bit of history on how we kind of got our way up in this shit. Small little bit, man. It ain't even a lot, right? Bear with me, stick with me a little bit. I hope you can follow me, all right? When we first lost our sovereignty, see, we established in 1776 with the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation, right? And then in 1782 was the end of the Revolutionary War, and the states went to the states asking them to take on the damages that had been incurred from the national government, national debt created by the states. They refused. So the national government took the debt from the states. So the national government then went to the UK and they asked King George III if he would buy this debt. King George said, shit, hell yeah, I'll buy the debt. But if I buy the debt, I want exchange of the title. I want control of the land. And they struck that deal. Right? A constitutor, one who passes his debts to a third person, one who creates a constitution. The Constitution itself is a bond. So you guys know. Fun fact. All right. The national government went to, and I believe the Articles of Confederation is the security agreement. The national government went to the UK and asked, in 1789, the national government lost its sovereignty. What sovereignty are we talking about here? What sovereignty are we talking about here? The national government lost its sovereignty. The government was no longer a republic. That was when that's when us as a whole, the whole government lost its sovereignty, all right? The original government. Not saying that it's not there still. It's just now we are accommodation parties to a debt and accumulating debt, and we've yet to pay that debt since we've started this thing back when the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation began. All right. So the term for international bankruptcy is 70 years. All right. So basically, we went through a bankruptcy because this is all this is all corporation shit, man. In order to anyways, this is all corporation stuff. So the term for international bankruptcy is 70 years. 1859, the Civil War, Americans was following a suit, and the states signed. The banks of France came for their money. The South refused to pay the debt. Now the states refused again to pay back the debt, so we're going into another 70-year bankruptcy. So there was a pattern here. There was a 70-year pattern starting from 1789, right? The 70-year pattern caused us to go to war every 70 years because the states kept refusing to pay back the debt. We agreed to paying the debt when we signed the Articles of Confederation. We became sureties. Alright, that's when we lost our first fucking sovereignty. I'm sorry, we lost our sovereignty in 1789, which was a few years after the United States was even established. So I believe like 7 years, or not, maybe 10 years. Who cares? I'm not doing the math right now. Anyways, so which then they took away the nation's sovereignty now. They took the state's property. Okay? So the second time we refused to pay the debt, the creditors came in and took the state's property. So first, they took our sovereignty as a government. Then they came in and they took the state's property. You with me? I hope y'all with me, man. This ain't gonna, this is right. And this is a bankruptcy cycle. This is what we like to call bankruptcy cycles. Flat, cycle another 70 years ahead. Excuse me. Well, actually, let me not even go there yet. In 1791, I read this already, but I'll read it again. Created the Bank of the United States. It had a 20-year charter. The international creditors wanting a guaranteed payment, because once again the states kept refusing to pay the debt. They just kept refusing. They would not pay this debt. So because we kept refusing to pay the debt, the creditors kept going to war, sending in more troops to come bust that ass. You feel me? You ain't gonna pay up. We coming for that ass. We ain't fucking around. Alright, so the international creditors wanting a guarantee of payment said if you put all your securities in this national bank, we good. We good. Come on, man, just put all the securities right on over here, and we good. The states did so, but after the 20-year charter, Congress decided they weren't going to renew the Bank of America of the United States, and they tried to pull out of the agreement. So after that 20-year charter, we put our securities there. Everything was cool, but it wasn't booming like they said it was going to boom. So we wasn't really feeling the idea like that too much. So we like, man, look, man, we about to, we out. We don't want to renew this, man. We cool on this. But see, y'all don't understand. We went to war back in 1782 because y'all niggas refused to pay this shit. And this is the reason why we had to create this whole agreement, because we want a guaranteed payment that you motherfuckers ain't gonna pull out the deal this time. And here you go again. So all right, cool. Y'all just don't get it. Fine. So all of a sudden, British troops on American soil. Damn. And they burned down the White House. Damn. And they took possession of the federal courts. Damn. Why in the hell would they take possession of the federal courts? Maybe for control. They want the titles. Because as I spoke to you before back in the beginning of this video, there are two types of title. We are in commerce. You can only hold two types of title in commerce. And unfortunately, in commerce, in layman's terms, there's a master and a slave. See, those of you who think this ain't slavery time still, sorry, now it's just corporate slaves. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, right? So you have equitable title and legal title. Legal title used to be known as allodial title, right? So if they have the titles, they control the land. They control everything. So they don't really care too much about anything else. They just want the titles. Because now I own all this. I own you. All right. So when they took our body, oh, I'm sorry. Actually, they didn't take our body yet. We'll get into that later. in another video. We'll get into all of that a little bit later in another video, man. I just hope I'm gonna pause right here. I'm gonna pause here, man, and let some of this here soak in. You know what I'm saying? 1913, the Federal Reserve Amendment for tax collectors was amended, right? We're gonna come back into and come back where the British soldiers came in and took possession of the federal courts because we refused to pay the debt again. So since we refused to do such a thing, at that point then we renewed the charter for another 20 years, and then we had to go through another process of another bankruptcy, which we'll go back and discuss the other two bankruptcies, which was the gold and silver and the land, people, the property of the people, or the land, the people's property, because the states lost their property, right? The states lost their property. That was the last thing that just happened. That happened in 17. No. So the states lost their property, and now I didn't realize this video was that long.